race at the Oscars for Best Actress should be over, and it should be going to Rose Byrne. This is an unquestionably best performance of the year I'm going to see. This is one of the best performances of the decade, of the 21st century. There is really no limits that I can put. This is one of these performances that transcends film. I think it is such an incredible performance Rose Byrne gives in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I think it is an acting masterclass. And this performance cannot be overhyped. I think it's actively impossible to do so. How Mary Bronstein's direction and writing is all compliment to Rose Byrne's performance in this movie, it makes it such an acting tour de force. It is such a meaty role that Rose Byrne gets to dive into in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I find it so impressive. I found this film so admirable in what it is accomplishing, and specifically what Byrne does in this film, which this film follows Linda, a woman navigating her daughter's illness, her absent husband, her job, and her increasingly hostile relationship with her therapist. This movie is thematically about how stressful it is to be a mother 24/7. There is no break, there is no help, and a mother is responsible for it all, while simultaneously being on the verge of a mental breakdown at every second of the day and swallowing it / shoving it down so deep that it just kind of creates something broken inside of you. That is what this movie is fundamentally exploring, and I think this movie does so very effectively. I thought this movie was pretty superb. And the cast of this movie, this is what I also just find so fun about this movie. The cast of this movie is incredible. There are 3 performances in here that I just, like, you wouldn't believe they're together. Again, it sounds like Mad Libs when you put them together, but it is Rose Byrne, Conan O'Brien, and A$AP Rocky. Those are our 3 big stars in this movie. I think all of them do great work within this film. Rose Byrne is in 100% of this movie, and there is an abstract quality to the direction of this movie. There are voices that are within this film, however, we don't see faces associated with them. We see her responding to her daughter, who is not on screen. We see her responding to her husband, who we hear her communicating via a cell phone. It puts you in Linda's shoes at all times, and it creates this intrusive feeling. One, it feels way too close. It feels so personal that you're seeing somebody go through this. It feels intrusive. She doesn't get time to herself in it. This frame holds on Burns the entire time, and it's often tight shots. It is close-ups in small rooms. This film smartly never has the pressure reliever. We are stuck in this world for the entire runtime, and it is suffocating. It feels like you are drowning. This is such a tense film. I heard someone ask the question, is this a horror film? It's not a horror film. I think this is all a testament to Rose Byrne's performance, who holds the camera and conveys every emotion possible. And it's in the small details. It's the little things that Rose Byrne does so well. One of my favorite scenes is really early on. I think it's within the first 10 minutes of the film. There's a scene where she orders a pizza for her and her daughter. And the way that she eats the pizza, the cheese falls off of it because they dropped the pizza. So she just rolls the cheese into this small little ball and just shoves it into her mouth. And it's these small little things where it's just oh, that's a very human moment of somebody who doesn't even have the second to eat this food properly. She just has to kind of shove it in her mouth and move forward with her day. It's the little mundanity of life and the anxieties and thrills that come with it within this film. It is knowing a parking situation for that day is going to be stressful, and how stressful just 5 minutes of your day are due to all these complications with dropping off your daughter. I found these details make the film come alive, and it just brings you into this world and her irks and everything going on, which just make everything a struggle. This film is produced by the Safdies, and it is released by A24. You certainly feel that tone within this film. I think they have a lot in common, Uncut Gems and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I think the difference is the intent of character. So for Howard Ratner, the protagonist in Uncut Gems, played by Adam Sandler, he is somebody that is making all these decisions that lead to his downfall, that are leading to his life being the way they are. Linda is the exact opposite. She just finds herself in the circumstances due to the pressures of being a mom right now, doing this all alone. I think that makes it really powerful and very upsetting throughout this film. And everything in her life is an obstacle, from her sick daughter to her absent husband, her frustrated therapist, her scumbag landlord who isn't fixing their roof. There's a hostile teen working the hotel front desk. There's this needy patient. There's this parking lot security guard. There's this nurse who's trying to shame Linda as a parent. Like, they're all just these little obstacles throughout the day. And it's this lack of support for her dealing with childcare, which is never overtly stated. I think it's a very smart decision by the script to never directly call out that she is not getting help. The omission is loud and clear. There's no institution, there are no programs to help a mother out in these circumstances. In the healthcare sense of the word, which this film does deal a lot with medical care for a child, the support system is group therapy, where they tell you no one is to blame for their kid's illness, only for the nurse slash doctor to be blaming Linda the entire time for what's going on. And there is these juxtapositions, these frustrations, these annoyances. You can obviously see how none of this is helping and actively making a situation more volatile. And it's also the level of misogyny on display in this film, which again is never directly stated, but it is subtext within the movie. There is this casualness to it. There is something that is expected of her as a mother. And I love how this film subverts those expectations throughout the way. But notice in the film while watching, notice when a male character comes in and is asking the same thing that Linda is asking in the film, how that is treated differently. That is the casualness of which I'm talking about. Speaking of the male characters in this film, I really do want to focus on the Conan O'Brien performance for a second. I loved this casting. This is such genius casting in this film. And it's Linda, played by Rose Byrne, just dumping out all of her emotional trauma and baggage the past few days, what's going on, to her therapist. And we know who Conan O'Brien is. We know him to be one of the funniest guys who's ever lived. And the fact that he never breaks in this film, the fact that he never gives Linda relief in like a joke or like just makes her smile or feel happy for a bit, it's so disconcerting. It's what I loved about this performance, is the entire time you just want Conan to make the situation better because he's Conan. We all know Conan. We all like find happiness in Conan. And the fact that this film like directly never gives that to you, I think is a really smart job. And it's the fact that you also see him as a performer getting visibly more frustrated and combative as the film goes along. The other big performance in this film that I actually want to spend some time on, it's A$AP Rocky, who with this film and Highest to Lowest is really proving himself to be a capable actor. He plays Linda's neighbor at the hotel who helps connect her to getting drugs and kind of sort of is in many ways looking out for her. He is at least one of the few characters in this film that isn't actively trying to make her life worse. And they have this very funny dynamic. Again, I think A$AP Rocky is just very naturally charismatic and can hold the screen very well. Opposite Rose Byrne, I thought he was quite good in this movie. And the writing within If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is so smart, especially when it comes to Linda's choices within the film, which is a huge element of this movie. I love that this film allows Linda to make bad choices throughout, that she is in a state of a spiral that she is helping worsen through her actions. Half the film takes place at night when she sneaks out of the hotel and from caring from her daughter just to get a break. And how and when we learn about circumstances in her life and then how they recontextualize in scenes like this, it really helps our understanding of the situations, the complexities. This is especially true with the therapist character played by Conan O'Brien, and this is especially true with her husband who is off screen for this movie. And I think this is just Byrne being a master of everything that she has to hold together in this film. What Rose Byrne does so well as a performer is you feel complete empathy and understanding of what she's going through, the bad decisions that she makes. So much so that when I was watching the film, I wasn't even actively thinking she was making that many bad decisions. It's when I left the theater and thought about what she does in certain scenes in this movie where you're like, oh yeah, no, that's right. Like, that's not a good thing that she did. But you feel so much empathy and care for this person, and you want her to get help and a support, and it's just not coming, and there's no relief through that. In this battle, Mary Bronstein has talked about the fact that this is based on a very personal experience to her. When her daughter was, I believe she said, at the age of 7, she also went through an illness. They were living in a hotel in San Diego, and this is her kind of reliving this and understanding and coming through this trauma on screen. It works like that. It's very therapeutic in many ways. I found it very distressing. I understand why a lot of people just aren't going to be able to get into this film. I do think it is like having a stress attack / an anxiety attack for most of the film. I found that, though, to be very effective, very smartly utilized in this film. And I think If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is a very accomplished film that I'd recommend, and I'm not rushing out to see anytime soon. Again, with that all said, I really like this film. I love the Rose Byrne performance, and I'm giving it a recommendation for sure. 4 out of 5 stars for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe for more. This week, I'll have a review of Christie, which is another film that is in the Oscar conversation. I'll also have a review of Frankenstein coming out soon, and a few more reviews in the near future. So subscribe for more.